Hello and welcome to this UniTaster On Demand. My name is John Cheek. I'm the founder of UniTasterDays, and it's my job to introduce the event and introduce our speaker. The speaker today is Dr. Sarah Jilani, joining us from City, University of London, and the subject we're going to look at is English. With these events, we try and cover four main themes: why you might want to study the course, what to expect on it if you do decide to study it, application tips, and careers. But I'm conscious you've tuned in to hear from our speaker, not from myself. So with that, I'll introduce Dr. Sarah Jilani, joining us from City, University of London. Over to you, Sarah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Sarah Jilani, and I lecture at undergraduate and postgraduate level at City, University of London, and I particularly teach post-colonial and global Anglophone literatures. But today, I'm going to give you a general overview of why you should study English at university at undergraduate level. So there's a myriad of reasons why, but I want to focus today on two particular areas that I think truly come together to help you fulfill the most of your potential out there in the world of careers, but also just as a human being, if you have this strong grounding that English literature gives you. So first of all, I would like to talk about the skills that you gain during an English BA. These include the skills to learn, create, and think. This may sound easy, but actually it takes a while to get to be good at these things. And English does really help you get there. Independent research skills is a big skill. English is generally a subject where you do have a lot of independent study. And that will get you really good at being able to focus on tasks and get work done, something really valuable out there in the world of employment. You'll gain high-level written and verbal skills. Of course, you'll be writing essays. You'll also be giving presentations, which is another transferable skill for the world. You'll also develop an ability to pay attention to detail, but also see the big picture view. This is something we do a lot when we try to understand literature. We try to do close reading, but then also comment widely on the contexts of a literary work. You'll develop creativity and you'll get to think creatively in almost every single assignment that you do. You'll also learn how to build a persuasive and subtle argument. So when you write essays in English, you're trying to convince the reader that your interpretation of this text matters and it can be supported. And this, again, is something that you can take with you throughout the rest of your life. And the ability to meet deadlines. Again, as I mentioned, you'll generally be left to work independently, and then you'll be able to learn how to manage your own time to meet the variety of deadlines that you'll have in the degree. In addition to these sort of core skills, English really gives you the skills to be more human. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you can think critically about the world and your place in it through English. You can appreciate the lived experience of humanity in different places and times because of the variety of stories that you read. It really helps you identify and transform the cultural biases and assumptions that we all have. And you'll broaden your perspective on contemporary global issues because humanity has been writing creatively about the experiences they've had for generations. And that relates to the last point where you'll actually understand the past better, and that will help you navigate the present. So it's not a history degree, but usually most undergraduate degrees in English these days place a lot of importance on historical context. And that makes sense because people don't create works of art in a vacuum. They create it in the societies that they live in. What can you expect if you study English at uni? Well, usually in the UK, it's 3 years full time. Some universities like City can take you up to 4 years, but that would be because you would choose entirely optionally to take up a work placement or a year abroad. As I mentioned before, it's a good amount of independent study and a wide range of reading. So if you're that person who always read in a corner of a room, this is for you, but it's also for you if you were interested in being social and dynamic as well. You'll probably get a selection of elective modules, and that means that you'll be able to choose specialist areas of interest. Usually an area like mine, post-colonial literatures, is going to be one or more of these elective modules that you can take up if you're interested in questions like the representation of identity, race, nation, and the legacies of colonialism in literature. And then in some degrees, you'll be able to choose electives in other fields that are adjacent to English. So in City, for instance, our BA English students are able to pick electives from creative writing, journalism, and publishing. Of course, you will study the classics and the canon of English literature. You'll also, as I mentioned, study how English is of the world and part of the world, and therefore there's beautiful variety of literatures in English written outside of the British Isles. You'll engage with literary theory and current debates in literary scholarship. And of course, you will write essays and give presentations. But most degrees will also give you a chance to do some creative work. And you can sometimes get to make podcasts, vlogs, and even graphic novels, which is something that we do have at City for your assignments. So you'll be able to show what you've learned in a variety of ways that suits a diverse range of skill sets. But of course, it's not just to study that you'll be going to uni. And the good thing about a BA in English is the things you do beyond the classroom really emphasize, elevate, and add to your degree. So there's going to be a lot of societies that you'll probably be able to join. At City, we have a student literary magazine. You'll be able to get a taste of student cultural life, and it'll probably be useful for your degree as well. You can put on events at uni related to English literature. You could try to invite writers to come and talk to your peers. And of course, you will be able to think about how to go about your essays and what you feel about a literary text through discussions with your own friends. And you'll all be studying the same text, and you'll be able to discuss what you felt about them, what you thought about them, how you're going to go about your assignments. So English generally provides for a very holistic kind of degree that attunes well with the extracurriculars that you want to do at university. So what can you do with an English degree once you reach that joyous day of graduation? And the short answer is everything, but I will break that down. So the long answer is that because English is not a vocational degree, so unlike, say, law or medicine, you don't have one single career path that you're probably going to have to follow. It's a strength. An English degree will be helpful in a range of careers because of the transferable skills, critical thinking, creativity, and sociocultural awareness that you develop. I'm going to expand on those a little bit. So a wide variety of careers today require skills that an English BA definitely gives you. Editing, writing, content creation, both digital and traditional media, proofreading, argumentation, and creative and persuasive communication. Things like being a copy editor, a digital content strategist, a journalist, a PR manager, a freelance writer, a broadcaster, and much more could be open to you. Another core skill that you develop during a BA in English is creativity, and it's a really desirable skill for employers across the board. And this does not just include creative jobs in the arts, although that does play a big part of where our graduates go. The heritage sector, the cultural industries, advertising, but also it's useful for any workplace looking for problem solving and original ideas. So business consulting, and technical jobs can even be on your radar. I mentioned a little bit earlier how BA in English really develops your skills to be more human. And part of that is the global perspective it often gives you. And that's really valuable for any workplace today, where business is done across nations. And the creative industries, teaching, academia, digital strategy, and even policy, government, and nonprofit sector could be for you, especially if you're interested in the global facets of English literature. Of course, adjacent creative degrees like media, film, newspapers and marketing and writing, coaching, and more could possibly get you around that ballpark, but it really is the diversity and scope of English literature that allows you to confidently apply this to many, many fields. So how do you apply? You may be getting ready for that UCAS application soon. You definitely do not have to be an expert in any of this yet. What we're looking for as lecturers when we look at the applications in front of us each year is whether these applications show us that you've begun to develop some of these key skills. We're usually looking to see what your creative thinking is like. Are you able to think for yourself? Are you able to analyze a variety of information, a variety of texts that you've been studying? Of course, from your personal statement, we'd like to see strong written and verbal skills. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's always nice when we can tell the unique voice of a student from their personal statement. And we'd like to see evidence of wide reading. So, of course, tell us about what you've been reading in your A-level, but we'd really like to know how you are as a reader in general. So what have you been reading beyond your degree? What do you read for pleasure? We'd also like to know what you're learning from this reading. So we'd like to see how, once you tell us what you've read, you are also able to reflect on what you've read. We'd also like to glimpse the skills you already have. So tell us if you've done some independent research for an assignment, if you are generally really motivated and you manage your time well, and if you've gone out of your way to broaden your reading. We'd also love to hear what you're looking forward to. So is there a particular area of literature you hope to explore at university? Perhaps you're interested in women's writing or in dumb poetry or in Shakespeare. Give us a sense of what kind of specialisms will probably be interesting to you once you arrive. And of course, as I mentioned, what you're like as a writer. Now, writing was something that you'll develop greatly throughout your degree, but even at the personal statement stage, it will be nice for us to see that you do have a flair for writing. So that's it from me. Best of luck with your applications, and I really hope that you study a BA in English at university.